Welcome to. Okay, Peanut Gallery, time to be quiet. I'm joking around, but no, welcome to the Lars Mercantile, Lars Homestead Alternatives, and Mount Folly Farm Virtual Hemp Harvest Festival. Obviously, because of COVID, we've had to go virtual. We normally have a couple hundred people out here every year, and we love doing it. But we thought this was a chance that we could show you the farm, show you the hemp, show you how we make CBD, show you how we make moonshine, show you how we make grain, and just let you tour around the farm while we're here and you're there. Behind me is the Homestead Cabin. It was important to all of us that we named the brand Homestead Alternative CBD for something real. And as you can see, the cabin is very, very real. And Ben Pasley, who's the president of it, is going to show you all around. So Ben, I think you need to give the cabin to us.
Perfect. All right, as Laura said, my name is Ben Pasley. I've been involved in one way, shape, or form with Lars Mercantile, now Wildcat Willie's Distillery and Mount Folly Farm for going on 5 years now. We've got some booths set up for everybody, but we're going to talk about the cabin first. So the cabin itself was originally built in the 1790s. This was the first pen that was built in the very first winter. When we rehabbed the cabin, these were some original things that came out. There's a twist of tobacco in the upper right hand corner, some pieces of newspaper, as well as some of the original metal nails. So this is the living room. Hello, Nancy. Over here, we have what is now the library. It features a small couch. And for those of you that might have come to the hemp harvest parties that we've had in the past, this is where the conference room was. Upstairs in the cabin, we have a piece of hemp-related information. In this, sorry, let me spin around here. In this bathroom, of course, cabins have chinking, and we actually used a fiber variety of hemp, some lime and some water, to actually make the chinking, as you can see there, that goes around. Now there's 2 bedrooms up here. We have a master that has this really neat old Singer. Yeah. As well as, here's the other bedroom. The cabin is something that we have done giveaways on the Mercantile for getaways. I think Miss Nancy was one of them. And then we also, once we moved out of this being our office, we made it into an Airbnb. But there's a lot of history here, and as Laura mentioned, this is the real place of why we made the brand Laura's Homestead, because this was the homestead of Mount Folly Farm. And then in here we have the kitchen, dining room. In this, off the dining room, so of the wooden floors here that you'll see, we actually picked out every nail, we picked out every defect, and had a local sawmill actually cut all these, and then we laid them by hand. That was actually another old cabin that they called the Kidville cabin. This here is the side porch. It has 3-season windows in it. Let's see if show you all the lights in here. Has an outside dining room table, but it's great. This was actually the pioneer porch that everybody would actually sit on and actually get to see people as they come around if they went up and down the Here, let me go outside. Some people are saying that they're not getting anything. Let's see if that's better. Is that any better? Can people hear me now? I know we weren't having the best of service. Are y'all still watching? Up and down? Okay. Well, since we know that we're partially recording in some things, I'm going to go ahead and get this since it's saving to the location. So what we have here, we put up the actual booth of what is common that we've done at events like the Art Guild that was on Winchester last weekend. This also includes everything that we've done in non-COVID years. So, but it starts with this banner where we start with Lars Mercantile. It connects us into Mount Folly Farm, which is where we actually grow the farm, or grow the hemp itself. Like there's one picture that is a lot of people have seen, as well as some of the marketing materials. This is where Keeneland did a special on Laura, how she's been ahead of her time, how she turns her entrepreneurial talents to hemp products. Here we have the actual organic certificate. Then we have, of course, our Lars hemp chocolates. You can find these in some select Krogers around the state of Kentucky, as well as some other various retailers. And then one thing that I wanted to touch on in this post, or in this live video, I should say, the difference between Lars hemp chocolates and Lars Homestead Alternatives. So the Lars Homestead Alternatives, that's what contains CBD. CBD, of course, is cannabidiol. It has the properties in it per the National Health Institute patent that has anti-inflammation and a lot of the other properties that everyone has become such a fan of. Now, the Lars hemp chocolates, it contains the hemp hearts that are the protein source, the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, as well as the amino acids that our bodies need. The other thing that's grown here and made here is our corn products. We have everything from Bloody Butcher grits, cornmeal. We have another variety of Hickory King. We also have some different flours, Pembroke and Hazlitt, that are coming out. And then, of course, this is the display case that you all are going to be able to see at some of your retail locations. This is, of course, this box was handmade. And then the products as well are every product that carries the Lars Homestead Alternatives all the way down to the Lars Canine Alternatives, which is our dog treats. Of course, use our CBD, grown by us, made by us. Now, the latest thing that we've come out with was in our starter 750 milligram extracts. We just came out with an apple, lemon, and mixed berry flavor, doing some testing as far as who likes what flavors. Also, of course, we still have our 1500 and our extra strength. That's a big favorite of everybody's, as well as our topical products. The menthol travel lotion is a big favorite for a lot of folks. But that's not to say we still have some other fan favorites, such as soft gels for folks that can't stomach the extracts, as well as one of our newer products is our chapstick. I think this is going to be a real big hit this fall. Something else that we brought out was this is actually a stock. It's from last year, actually. It hasn't decomposed yet. And this is actually part of what makes our CBD so good. You know, we take the flower off of these plants. You know, we're not chopping up the whole plant, and that's a big part of what we're doing. Now, the next thing that we want to talk on, and I want to introduce Christopher Benavidez. Chris is our Director of Quality Assurance. he is the key behind making sure that potency tests are done. So Chris, tell us a little bit about what you do here at Laura's.
So I'm responsible for making sure that that lot sticker on each one of your CBD goodies has a potency CO behind it. Third-party tested, the lab's registered with the DEA. They're based out of Lexington, and we're really happy with them. So I'm the one that makes sure that there's the right amount in each one of those. So
great.
I take really good pride in making sure we have up-to-date everything and that we have more than most people ask for.
Yeah. What else do you test for besides potency?
So we test for heavy metals, test for pesticides, residual solvents. We also test for microbials and yeasts and molds to make sure that we give you the best product we possibly can.
Absolutely. That's great. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, shout out to my family.
Yeah. Ann says hi.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Chris is going to go with us later when we actually go to the field. So next, switching over to the sister company, I'm going to let Zach take over here. Zach is president of Wildcat Willie's Distillery. And we got a little booth here for you all to, I know we're talking about the hemp harvest party, but we want to give Zach an opportunity to share his endeavor. So Zach.
So hi everyone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the distillery, what products we get here from the farm that we then use at the distillery. So first off, the distillery is located at 31 East Broadway in Winchester. We're open 11 to 8 Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and 11 to 9 Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. We specialize in moonshine. We do a sweet potato moonshine. That's sweet potatoes grown right here on Mount Folly Farm. We also do a Liberty Lightning, which is a corn whiskey that is a Hickory King variety from Mount Folly Farm, which you'll see later on. We also have a farm-to-table restaurant. We are known for our bacon jam burgers. Chef down there has done a tremendous job with the entrees and stuff that we've come up to cook with. Of course, in this video, you'll see an old pot still. This is what I learned on. Of course, we have upgraded to a beautiful 100-gallon all-in-one unit that has made my life much easier from where I've started.
Allegedly.
But yes, so of course we'll get to see the corn down in a little bit and the sweet potatoes, like I said. But yeah.
All right.
It's been showing you available in our gift shop, our t-shirts. We have shot glasses. This is my ultimate favorite. This is the pocket shot. This is when you want to try and be discreet, when you're not supposed to be drinking somewhere, but you're going to anyway. But opens up, maybe turns into a perfect shot.
Like a camping shot glass.
Camping shot glass.
That's great. Ann says samples, please. All right. All right, so that kind of shows everybody where we're at as far as actually on the homestead itself. And what we're trying to do in kind of this layout is show everybody in the same similar way that we would have done the actual hemp harvest parties. You know, we would have had hemp beer, we would have had, you know, hemp dogs, and everybody be able to eat and congregate and, you know, really enjoy Pilot View. But weren't able to do that with COVID. So if I can get everybody to pile on here, we're going to go show you all some hemp. Actually, no, Laura. All right, sorry. So the next segment, we're going to talk about, Laura's going to have a segment on regenerative agriculture.
But first you need to talk to Wildcat Willie.
Yeah, we can talk to Bill too. So to give everybody some context, which actually that's not very good with the lights. But really, Bill, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set this camera up. Perfect. Now, Bill, I need you to sit here.
Next to Laura.
Yes, please.
So, like, access.
Yeah. So, Bill, we just talked to Zach, and he talked about some of the corn moonshine, some of the sweet potato moonshine, and as well as talked about that copper pot still out there. So, tell us about some of your favorite distillery products.
Moonshine is what I was working with in West Virginia, in Hinton. And It was just corn liquor, and it was really good. It was tasty, and we never did flavor it. This is the first time I ever flavored anything.
Yeah.
And the flavor is great.
Yeah.
It really is good.
So do you like the Liberty Lightning or the sweet potato moonshine better?
I like the sweet potato.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, tell them about your dad being a moonshiner.
Yeah. My father was a rum runner, and that's on a sailing boat. So it was on a whaling boat, but they were running liquor down to the south. They were running from the south to the north, because the north was
Into
the
New
hot.
York, yeah.
And New York and Brooklyn and all that stuff. So he had a real exciting youth. Smuggling alcohol during Prohibition, and the mafia was around, the machine guns were around. It was a really interesting stories he used to tell us.
Good. What's your favorite farm-to-table meal at Wildcat Willie's Distillery?
Probably the hamburger.
Yeah.
The bacon jam burger?
Yep.
Yeah. The caramelized bacon's really good, isn't it?
Yeah. But the beef is great. Good beef.
Yeah.
Flavorful and.
Oh, and of course, we raised it here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Laura's bulls.
Alright, so now I'm going to talk about regenerative ag. You know,
Okay.
You don't have to sit here if you don't want to.
Okay. I can go home?
You go up.
Okay.
Thank you, Billy.
Yep.
Try to speak louder.
Okay, so I am here to try to explain, without going into too much detail, what the big picture is on the whole project. This whole project is basically an environmental move to develop a carbon neutral food system. And with that, the carbon sink is farmland and trees. So we're trying to develop our pastures and our crop fields to be carbon sinks. We're doing this by reducing tillage and by planting cover crops always. So we're using photosynthesis basically to solve the problem of burning fossil fuels. We also are trying to stop the carbon pumps. And so like on this cabin, we have solar panels, and we're doing that when we can. But the main thing is to make the farm carbon sink and then to localize the food system. And by doing that, we built the farm table restaurant and the distillery, and we started doing hemp. And the hemp is for only local accounts, and then it's mail order. So that's LarsMercantile.com, and that's why we're local in brick and mortar and online for everything else. And Bill drew a cartoon that kind of shows you how this is supposed to work. There you go. And we've got copies of the cartoon on Mount5Farm.com website. It's a pretty good one. And but basically it's hemp is legal, farmers grow hemp, and farmers get paid by honest companies. Now it's been an enormous problem that the big hemp companies all went bankrupt, didn't pay the farmers. That will never happen on my watch with our companies. And then we make our products, and the employees all understand our environmental needs, and so they work on the farm, and then they work on the online store. So we're not Amazon, we're not big, it's a few of us fill the packages, but we're what we need for environmental stability. I am affiliated with Rodale, and here is their latest publication about regenerative farming. And if anybody emails me and wants a copy of it, I will send it to you for free. And that's Laura@MountFollyFarm.com. But anyway, thank you very much. I hope you learned about this, because this is what we're doing.
All right. Thank you, Miss Laura. Now we're going to go travel around and go see some hemp. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Katie. Hi, Krista. All right. I don't think they're gonna be able to hear it. You don't think so?
I can hear you clearly. Put it closer.
Yeah. First, we're going to look at sweet potatoes. So these sweet potatoes were harvested about 2 weeks ago. They're here in the heat, I should say. They are sunbathing, drying out, curing out. And as you can see behind them is some moonshine corn, as we've started to refer to it as. That is a Bloody Butcher variety that turns red. So both of these two things right here are going to be turning into moonshine in the months to come. Now we're gonna flip around here. Of course, this is one of the tobacco barns that we're gonna be harvesting hemp in. We haven't harvested anything yet. And while we're here, everybody loves the goats. So we're gonna take a second to everybody see the goats. Man! Hi. Hi. So this brown guy right here that's in front, and obviously the most aggressive, he's the newest buck that we've gotten for our little mini herd of goats. Of course, everybody loves Bingo the donkey, of course. The goats really are the star of the show. But the donkey is still by far the most skittish out of all the animals here. Ow! he bit me. All right. So never turn your back on the goat. Next is going to be our longest trip. We're going to be going to what's called Mule Barn, which is one of the certified organic fields here at Mount Folly. No, I got it. I'm good. here on your right, you'll actually see some of our grain bins. We use these grain bins so that we can sell our traditional corn, soybeans, which are non-GMO and certified organic, at the optimal time of year, not right when they're just coming out of the field. So to start us out in this field that we just drove past, you saw part of what is Mule Barn, literal Mule Barn. This is Mule Barn field. This first crop that you see right here, these are certified organic soybeans, and these soybeans are just now drying down. They finished pod filled, and we're probably going to start harvesting them in, I'd say, another 3 to 4 weeks. And then we have what we call a trial plot, I guess, of some new varieties of hemp that we have this year. So we have 3 varieties in here. We have Stout, we have Cherry Citrus, and we have Auto. Auto was one that we had last year that actually did really well. And we want to show you all a couple differences in these. So as you can see, this guy, I mean, he's coming up to about our waist. But as you zoom in there, you can see how it's starting to mature. You see some of those different pieces of the hemp flower. This is what is the flower itself. As the stalk I showed you all earlier, the stalk, we're really going to shuck all that flower that comes up off of it. Now, one thing that's new within the KDA, as we're becoming compliant with the most recent farm bill, is that there's questions about testing and what can be 0.3% THC, and making sure to stay below that. And so we've got Chris here with us. So Chris, when we do our testing, we do what, 7 inches of the whole flower?
At least 7 inches of the top flower. Randomly picks different plants out of the field to make sure we get a good sample. And from that, we'll dry it out and get ready to take it to our lab.
Yeah. So tell us again what you test for, since hemp is a bioaccumulator.
Bioaccumulator means that it takes up different kind of nutrients and pieces of the carbon and different kind of nutrients from the soil. And so you have to test for pesticides, heavy metals. We test for residual solvents. We also test for microbials like yeasts and molds to make sure all this is perfect for you all.
Yeah, because that's the real goal in this. It's not just the trust of the Lara brand, it's the trust of a certified organic farm that stands behind certified organic products. Because I know that there's a couple guys out there that like to tote and talk about how certified organic they are, but in my opinion, if you're not fully vertically integrated, how can you really stand behind the trust of your products? That one's really, look how pretty that one is. I hate it that you all couldn't be here with COVID and everything, because if you all could smell this, it is a very unique experience. Very citrusy. That's coming from the Cherry Citrus variety. And these, one thing that I wanted to point out that's just very obvious is the difference. You saw that previous plant was only 4.5 feet tall. Excuse me. And then this plant is probably right at 6 foot. It's just as tall as I am. And it's nowhere near as dense. So in years past, when we'd have a really wet fall, as we were trying to fight and deal and get the crop out of the field, this was a situation where we were absolutely, needed to rely on these thinner, more sativa varieties of hemp, because the density of the flower can actually start to mold. Our very first year growing CBD varieties, that actually happened, where we had to be proactive. Now, on the farming side of this harvest party, or harvest festival, whatever we want to call it, these hemp plants, they're probably going to get harvested in the next week. We have completed our harvesting sampling from the KDA that kind of Chris was kind of touching on. When we planted these, because we used to even do planting parties, we obviously couldn't do a planting party this year. But these plants were planted in a plant population of roughly 2,200 plants per acre. And we were even a little bit thinner on the next field that we might go to. And we used a mechanical transplant setter. That was what some people might call a carousel setter, which was very similar. And comparing back to, look at this one, it's purple. It got touched by a little bit of frost, which is very similar to the tobacco model. Now, as you all listened to Laura talk and touch on regenerative agriculture, the big piece of that, as far as the soils and everything goes with this model, which Michael's getting some shots back there, which is great. What we have is with using the tobacco model to raise hemp, the problem with that is that you need to put a cover crop right back on. So as soon as this is harvested, we're going to put a rye cover crop on, but by doing the tobacco model, we really are going to be able to get the crop off the field early enough